Okay, we're now on the record in the matter of the liquor license application for full drink Sunday sidewalk cafe in the 3 a.m. Davidson Hotel Company LLC at 811 Spruce Street, doing business as the Westin St. Louis. Present at the hearing is Ms. Mildred Bell Gibbons, the Executive Secretary for the Excise Division. Mr. Joe Kelly, agent to the applicant. Miles McDonald, the Excise Commissioner for the City of St. Louis. Okay, you're familiar with all this, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first thing we're going to submit as an exhibit is certified copy of St. Louis City Ordinance 71819. Do you have any objection to the introduction of that ordinance?
No, sir.
The next thing is the file maintained by the Excise Division regarding the applicant. Any objection to the introduction of that file?
No, sir.
And the next thing is the results of the investigation conducted by the Excise Division regarding the requirement for majority, a simple majority of signatures in categories of property owners, qualified tenants, occupants within the petition circle. Any objection to the introduction of the results of that investigation?
No, sir.
Okay, as far as property owners goes, there's a total of 4 in the area, majority of which is 3. And the applicant submitted 3 valid signatures in that category. The next category, tenants, occupants, there's a total of 10 within the petition circle, majority of which is 6. The applicant submitted 8 with an overage of 2. So everything is fine as far as the requirement for the signatures go. This time, I am approving the application. The application has been approved. The hearing is concluded. We are now going off the record in this manner.
I think we also applied for a 3 a.m. license.
I think it's on, but it's the other folder. Two folders.
Two folders.
For Weston.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry, it's all in the same folder. I apologize, I'm thinking about the gas. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, all right. There's also an application here for 3 a.m. Everything is the same in terms of the exhibits, with the exception of the signature requirement. In terms of property owners, is a total of 10 in the extended petition circle, majority of which 6, the applicant has secured 7 signatures in that category. And tenants, occupants, extended petition circle is a total of 14, majority of which is 8. The applicant secured 9 in that category. So, do you have any objection to the results of that investigation, Mr. Kelly?
No, sir.
Okay. So, application is approved, and the 3 a.m. permit is also approved. I don't see anything here. Sidewalk cafe.
They turned over the four drink, so it may not be application.
Well, as long as it's there, I think so. And the 3 a.m. permit is also approved. Well, it's a sidewalk cafe. Okay. Looks like, anything else, Mr. Kelly?
No, sir, that's,
Okay, it looks like we've covered everything, and the hearing is concluded at this time.
thank you. Yeah, I'll take that back over. It was kind of a difficult getting, tracking on the folks over the Cardinals to sign all the petitions. But that Dan Pfister, the guy with the Downtown Residents Association, I was talking to him of, because I keep in touch with them with everything I got going on downtown. I just mentioned this to him, and he helped us. He put a call in over there and helped us get their signature right away. It was really helpful. Dan Pfister, he's with the Downtown
I know
Residents.
Dan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is he anything to that newspaper reporter who just passed away?
Oh, that I don't
That
know.
was his last name.
Yeah, I
That was
noticed
in the
that.
copy.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a person.
Yeah. Well, I try to work with those folks as much as possible with him and the older gentleman that comes to all the hearings, the former alderman.
James Page.
Yeah, James Page. Yeah, he's such a nice guy. They're very helpful. When I try to tell these people in downtown, not necessarily these hotels, but all these little mom and pop places. I said, start with them. Call James first. Go with that. I said, let's not apply. Don't hire me. Talk to them, and then calling back and see where they land on it. That kind of thing. And the people that take my advice and do that, it helps. These other people that try to go head to head with them on petitions and stuff.
He's an interesting guy. He's
Yeah.
He's got he's got Harley Davidson. He's got him. I think he's older than me.
Yeah.
I thought he told me he was like 80. But he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, like I say, whenever we get something downtown, I always, you talk to them first, and
Yeah.
you got to just, same thing with, the Central West End, the Grove, or any of these neighborhoods. It's kind of very much involved in these things. Well, you know how it is. They're the first ones. I even tell people too. I said, if people just randomly get these petitions or these postcards, a lot of them call the alderman's office or call the residents association to see what the hell's going on. If they can just say, yeah, we met with these people, they're cool, we will sign it, send it on. We don't want to have to do our own research. Let somebody else okay. Yeah. I got I'll take this back over there. I got every hearing. The next one we got is that's the old Vindicet building. That caught fire.
Okay.
I missed that. I like that restaurant. The rooftop up there was beautiful. View of downtown. That was the guy's name, Paul Hamilton, had owned it. He sold the building to this younger couple. They bought the building there, and I think the husband, they're both out of the country right now. The husband, he's an architect and builder, and then his wife is the one that's going to run there are two event spaces.
Okay.
One on the first floor, and then that third floor with the rooftop seating is going to be an event space there as well. So,
I think that signature is the same for both of them.
yeah, they're exactly the same. Yeah, we did. There is like the second floor is residential, so that it's split, between what they're licensing on the first floor and the third floor. Then there's residential in between, so you got like 2 licenses. And then we've got another application pending for a completely different person. Is doing the old, there was a pizza place on the first floor, but he's a different owner. So just applying for a license there now. Building back up and running. But man, you see that fire? Do you remember that? That was about 2 years ago. Somebody put a cigarette out in like one of the planters. The whole building caught on fire. The water damage. I mean, they had to cut the thing, tear the elevator shafts out, everything, tear it down to the studs. The water damage from the fire department, just destroyed that building.
They have a tendency to do more damage.
Yeah. Yeah. But he said it was on the security cameras. I don't even remember if it was somebody that worked there or a customer put a cigarette out, and then it just kind of smoldered in the planter until like the middle of the night. Unfortunately, the place burned when there was nobody there. so nobody got hurt, but, you know, some stupid shit like that.
9:15, we just go forward if you want. Okay, now on the record,
I think they'll do stuff for the speaker. You see any major changes coming this way with the new administration? Yeah,
yeah, I know. We had any problem.
yeah,
I don't know, she doesn't care for it.
all of that. I remember early on, about a year ago, when we first sat down to have an informal meeting about that new
Yeah.
road bill. A couple of the older persons were there. It's very informal. And she showed up. First thing, we went around the table. First thing she said, the city doesn't have any money to do anything. So if this is gonna cost any money at all, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it took over public safety. For a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get out. Yeah, I'm not seeing how. Did we request a phone for back here?
I'm not sure, I have to ask when.
Okay, we're now on the record in the matter of liquor license Applebee's Events LLC located at 2017 Shoto. This is what, Joe, for the first floor?
Yes,
Okay, this is for premises on the first floor, suite 121 through 123, and the same street address for the premises on the, is that the third floor?
the third floor, yes, sir.
For premises on the third floor at the same address. Okay, we're gonna do, if you're familiar with this, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Introduce certified copies of St. Louis City Ordinance 68536, which governs the issuance of liquor licenses within the city of St. Louis. Any objection to the introduction of that ordinance?
No, sir.
The next thing is the files on both of these premises. Any objection to the introduction of these files?
No, sir.
Next thing is the results of the investigation conducted by the excise division regarding the requirement for signatures, simple majority, majority of property owners and majority of tenants occupants. Any objection to the introduction of the results of those investigations?
No, sir.
Okay. The numbers will be the same because it's the same building with different licenses on the first floor and on the third floor. So if you have any objection to the introduction of those files?
No, sir.
Okay. So the first place on the first floor, there's a property where there's a total of 56 qualified property owners within the petition circle, majority of which is 29. Applicants submitted 36 valid signatures, for overs of 7. Next category is qualified tenants occupants. There's a total of 51 within the petition circle, majority of which is 27. Total of tenants occupants assigned is 31. With an overage of 4. That's for the premises on the first floor. Any objection to the results of that investigation, Mr. Kelly?
No, sir.
And the investigation conducted of the premises on the third floor, exactly the same numbers. Any objection?
No, sir.
Okay,
No objection.
all right. That having been said, now approving both applications. Yeah. This one, you take these back to now.
Sure.
I'm trying to just, I got a protest petition hearing starting with 10. How much you get rid of it. So, these things.
I don't know if it's before or after your next hearing. I got the one in Soulard.
Yeah, that's the next one.
That's the next one. Okay.
9:45.
Ready to wait on that one for a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay, I think he's over there.
so I could get,
Sure.
in fact, you would take those up, the two I just gave you, let me look at them. I gotta send something down to public safety.
Okay.
I want to make sure they can send it.
Sure, sure. Do you want one of these back?
No.
Okay, I think these are.
First one, right there. So the very first one.
Oh. Yeah. Just give me a shot whenever you want to start the, when I on 7th Street, there's a gentleman out here. He's with the applicant. He works for the applicant. He just came down, so I don't know that there'll be anybody from the neighborhood here, but just let me know whenever you're ready. That's the old place where Tim Baddock's Soulard Restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
So Tim, but close to Soulard, I think there was a fire there too at one time.
Are they involved in the new place?
No, Tim's not. He still owns the building.
Okay.
And then he leased it to Twisted Ranch or something. He leased it to another place that was there less than a year. And they closed, and then he's got these guys doing some daiquiri factory or something there.
I got
Just let me know whenever you're ready.
you. Okay, thanks, George.
I'm ready.
Okay, we're now on a record of the mayor of a liquor license application for Stewart Southern Classic Daiquiri Factory, doing business as Southern Classic Daiquiri Factory at 1729 to 31 South 7th Street. My application for full drink, a Sunday drink, and summer garden. Present at the hearing, Ms. Mildred Bell Gibbons, the Executive Secretary to the Excise Division, Mr. Joe Kelly, the agent for the applicant, Mr. J.W. Hackles, your neighbor.
This is, we have neighbor. That is
And
done.
Mr. George
Hey,
May, you able to?
nope, I'm just a observer participant.
Okay.
Actually, I think you know my cohort Cheryl Bear. I'm a restaurant writer. I write for St. Louis Magazine.
Okay,
And I got one person online, somebody named Thomas.
somebody need to?
Thomas.
Okay. All right, okay, you're familiar with this, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
First thing we're gonna do is introduce certified copy of St. Louis City Ordinance 71819, which governs the issuance of liquor licenses within the city of St. Louis. Any objection to the introduction of that ordinance?
No, sir.
And the next thing is the file maintained by the applicant by the excise division. Any objection to the introduction of that file?
No, sir.
The next thing would be the results of the investigation conducted by the excise division regarding the requirement for regarding signatures in the categories of property owners and qualified tenants occupants within the petition circle. Any objection to the introduction of the results of that investigation?
No, sir.
Okay. There's a total of 39 property owners within the petition circle, majority of which is 21. The applicant secured 25 approval signatures with an overage of 4 in that category. Regards to tenants occupants, there's a total of 24 within the petition circle, majority of which is 13. The applicant secured 14 approval signatures in that category with an overage of 1. Okay, everything appears to be in order here regarding the signatures also, so at this time, I'm approving the application. Okay, the application has been approved. We are now going off the record in this matter, and the hearing is concluded.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Tom Yarbrough. I'm a hearing officer for the City of St. Louis Excise Commission. It is April 17th, 2025 at 10:15 a.m. We are here for a protest tonight regarding the property located at 3037 Olive Street, St. Louis, Missouri 63103, doing business as Rogue Bistro, R-O-U-G-E Bistro, B-I-S-T-R-O. There are multiple people in attendance today. First, we have Mr. Julian Davis, who is the applicant and manager, it says here, at Rogue Bistro. We have Zach McMichael. So why don't everybody, can I just have everybody announce who they are? Why don't we do that way? Just to state your name for the record. So
Can you speak loudly though?
yeah,
Yes, ma'am. I'm Eric Tolke. I am a property owner in the Circle of Influence.
and what property do you own, Mr. Tolkien?
We own a residence at 3146 Locust Street, as well as several other properties in the area.
Perfect, thank you.
Zach McMichael for JLM JRDA LLC. They own property directly north across an alley from the applicant's property.
Scott Pullman, and I have property at 3124 Locust, and I'm also a resident.
I'm Mary Toki. I'm the petitioner. I own property in the area. I live in the area and filed petition.
Thank you.
Chase Feaster, Assistant City Council.
Dana Shaw, Assistant City Council. I represent the Department of Business.
All right, perfect. Thank you, everyone. All right, so as we stated, we're here for a protest hearing. A little bit of just brief procedural history here for the record. It appears that this application was filed on December 23rd, 2024, right? Procedural history would then show that letters of protest were issued to Ms. Tolke on January 21st, 2025. On January 29th, 2025, letters of protest were submitted to the Excise Commission, and there was found to be 11 valid signatures, which initiated the protest, with a 30-day cutoff established of March 3rd, 2025. On February 27th, 2025, the protest representatives submitted 4 protest petitions containing signatures. And it looks like this hearing was originally set for April 10th. That was continued due to my unavailability, and it was set for today, April 17th at 10 a.m. And that brings us to where we are. So first of all, I have to admit some exhibits on behalf of the city, but I'll do those kind of throughout the hearing. First thing I'm going to offer is city exhibit number 1 is a certified copy of the ordinance here, which is the controllable law ordinance 71819. This is a certified copy of that ordinance. Does anyone have any objection to city exhibit 1 being entered in? Mr. Davis?
No.
Mr. McMichael? Mr. Shaw? No, obviously. All right. City exhibit number 1 will be entered in evidence. City exhibit 2. I will offer evidence. That is the excise division file that I'm holding for entitled Road Bistro. Now, again, there's going to be some other exhibits, 3, the liquor license, letters of protest, and the summary spreadsheet of that are contained within exhibit 2. But for this purpose, I'm just submitting the subject matter of the excise division file in its entirety as exhibit 2. Do you have any objection, Mr. Davis?
No.
Mr. Malcolm? Okay. City exhibit 2 will be entered in evidence. All right. Now, as it pertains to the signatures submitted, right? It looks here, and then I will let you take it from here, Ms. Shaw. But as everybody's aware, we need to submit signatures for the protest constituting a majority of tenant occupants and their property owners within the radius, right? The protest representative is responsible for submitting a majority of signatures to have a valid protest, right? I see the signatures that have been provided here, but Ms. Shaw, why don't I let you take it from here and you can call any witness you would like on behalf of the city. Start there.
Just quickly, sorry, understand, is there any objection to the signatures?
Could you guys speak up a little bit, please?
Is there any objection to the validity of the signatures?
No.
So then I'll just say in general, and I won't call Donna or excise unless you just.
No, that's fine, especially if there's no objections to the signatures. Just, so I didn't mean to cut you off, Ms. Shaw. So we're on the same page, Mr. Davis, just I want to make sure you understand. Ms. Shaw is asking you that, I know you've been through this process, so you probably know more than I'm just trying to be clear. That Ms. Tolke was required to submit signatures constituting the majority, right? Property owners who live within the radius circle or tenant occupants, right? And she submitted certain signatures on these protest petitions that the excise committee, or the employees of the excise commission investigated those signatures as to whether they were valid, right? And there's various reasons, just like when you probably submitted your signatures, there's various reasons that they can be deleted, which are marked here in a column on this form. Okay. So just you understand, you said you no objection. You've reviewed these signatures. You know the reasons why some are deleted and some weren't. And
Yes.
you've reviewed this information.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's all I'm trying to make sure. Ms. Shaw, please continue.
So there was a protest that was initiated under excise code 1408-110. And to initiate a protest against the issuance of a liquor license, protesters must submit liquor license letters of protest, petition signed specifically for a property owner under 1401-354. Because this protest is against a restaurant, bar, tap room, microbrewery, or group pub. A successful protest was initiated. The burden of proof then shifted to the applicant. And the applicant in this situation did not get a majority of signatures to overcome the protest.
We're not required, we're not calling any investigators because there hasn't been any objections to any of the signatures here. Okay,
No, I'm just telling her she brought it to the table.
all right. So state that again, Ms. Shaw. I'm sorry, your last point.
There was a successful protest against Rouge Picture.
All right, so do you understand that, Mr. Davis, that Mrs. Shaw is basically stating that, hey, Ms. Tolkey was required to submit a majority of signatures. The Excise Commission's investigation after those signatures were submitted found that she had that there was 28 property owners, tenant occupants, I'm sorry, within radius, a majority constitutes 15. She submitted 25 signatures. Our investigation removed 10, leaving her with 15 valid protest signatures. That wasn't right on the cutoff line to be a majority.
Right.
And you were aware of that. And then, as Ms. Shaw just stated, you were then not able to obtain any other signatures that were.
How many was that short?
Your cause. Let's see here. Protest, petition. Protest, petition. It looks like you submitted a total of 9 signatures, 4 of which were removed, leaving with a total of authentic signatures of 5, which would be 10 of the. So that's pretty short.
Well, but
Okay. Same thing. I don't know if you reviewed this document where it shows. Now, it's not, even if you had these 4 not deleted, it still would have been short
Right.
of the majority. But just for the record, there was 4 that were removed here. I believe one was for not being a resident. The second one, Susan Logston, was signed multiple times, it states. Same thing with the third one, Amanda Hellman. It says signed multiple times. And Christopher Ryan, 3029 Logan Street, states it was not a valid business for a license collector.
Oh, okay.
So that's why that was the justification for those 4 being removed. So it wasn't that it wasn't like the signature didn't match or that they couldn't leave a phone number. It wasn't issues like that. It was pretty cut and dry issue.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
sign more than once, or you're not licensed, you're not a listed business for the license plate. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So just from your point of view, at least it was, I would be more comfortable those being the reasons than they didn't leave a signature and they didn't pick up on the call.
Right.
So I think those were pretty valid. So short answer, I'll give you a very long
Yeah.
answer.
No, no.
Short answer is your 10 short.
Okay.
Okay, so you can kind of, I mean, do you have anything further, Michelle? You have the city, all right. So, like I said, Mr. Davis, that's kind of, I want to say that's the hearing, right? But the hearing here is to establish whether the protest had valid signatures. I have evidence here in the file, which I guess I need to admit those as evidence, that shows that the protesters met that burden. They did submit protest signatures constituting a majority of property owners and tenant occupants within the radius, and therefore they're satisfied the requirements of the protest. Okay?
Mhm.
So in regards to that, I'm going to go over a couple more exhibits that I'm going to enter into evidence. You can object to these, right, as we discussed, and we'll kind of go from there. So these are kind of related to what we just discussed. City Exhibit 3 that I'm going to offer into evidence. These are the liquor license letters of protest, all right? So these, Ms. Tolkien, are what you submitted to the office. Again, I don't need to summarize the documents that much, just for the record, as you can kind of see here. It's just a list of names, addresses, signatures, and phone numbers that Ms. Tolkien obtained on document entitled liquor license letters of protest. That were the signatures that were submitted on her behalf. Would you like to review any of that, Mr. Davis? Okay. Does anybody have any objection to City Exhibit 3 being mentioned? Mr. Davis, no. Mr. McMichael, no. Ms. Tolkien, no. All right. City Exhibit 3 will be entered into evidence. Finally, what I have is City Exhibit 4 is a spreadsheet prepared by the Excise Division. This is basically a summary of all the signatures that were submitted, right? This is going to be a summary of the signatures submitted by Mr. Davis, but it's also a summary of the signatures submitted by you, Ms. Tolkien, for the protest, all right? I have multiple copies if anybody would like to review it, but that's essentially what the document is. Would you like to review this, Mr. Davis? Okay. Ms. Tolkien, anybody else? All right. The City Exhibit 4 will be entered into evidence, all right? So that is all the evidence I have to admit today. Mr. Davis, do you have anything else that you'd like to submit as evidence or anything that you'd like me to consider today?
Mhm.
Okay. Michael, no. Ms. Tolkien, do you have anything else you'd like me to consider today? Ms. Shaw? Well, then, based upon the evidence that was submitted today, I'm going to find, Ms. Tolkien, that your protest petition was successful, that you did submit valid signatures constituting a majority of tenant occupants and property owners who reside within the radius, that you did submit signatures constituting a valid majority, okay? Because of that, your protest is going to be successful, and Mr. Davis, I think you understand that is going to result in your application being denied. You understand? All right. And you understand that as the ordinance states that when you have an application denied, that it cannot be refiled for 6 months. Are you aware of that? Any other questions you have for me or anything that I can answer for you at all?
No, I've been down this before.
Okay.
I know the ins and
Like I
outs.
said, we've never met, so I'm just
Yeah.
trying to make sure that I'm not,
Right, I know.
rushing through things and just making sure that we're on the same page and that you understand that is important to me, that people don't feel like, hey, whatever you guys say, just walk out here. I want you to
Right.
understand what,
Oh, yeah, I do.
why, and then, even if you might not feel good about it, I've got to make sure you understand. All right. Mr. Mike, anything you'd like for the record?
No, sir.
Ms. Tolkien? Ms. Shaw?
Yes, just quickly, under 1408 130, I understand that this is under the newer portion.
Can't hear you.
I understand this is under the newer portion of the ordinance, but would we like to consider whether this would be detrimental to the neighborhood?
Would like for me to consider whether. what would
Yeah,
be
just under the
detrimental.
protest hearing procedure 1408 130. The second part of the hearing shall consider evidence concerning whether issuance would be detrimental to the neighborhood. And I believe it would be just based on the number of signatures.
Now, you're saying to consider whether a future application would be detrimental to the neighborhood?
No, just whether, concerning whether issuance of the application would be detrimental to the neighborhood.
Let's mean in a future application. You say issuance of an application. I guess that's the language I'm confused about.
Okay,
I can get to it. It's 1408 what?
1408 130.
Yeah, just to make sure we're not, I got it right here in front of me, so I should pull it up. 1408 130. All right, subsequent second paragraph, what?
B,
B, the excise commissioner shall, at least 10 days prior to the date at which the protesting is scheduled, cause notice of the time, place, and hearing to be served. Okay,
I apologize, that's not B. It's D.
it's D.
It's the last 1, 2, 3, last 4 lines.
Got it. The protest should be done in the first reading. Yep. Prior to the initiation of the second phase of the hearing, make any determination as to the sufficiency of the written. During the same- Well, in reading that, it would just seem to me, I mean, I have no problem doing a second phase 2 of the hearing to consider those factors.
So
It's
I
just also,
submit that the
Yeah.
successful protest will be enough
well,
evidence.
that's kind of what I'm thinking, because it states shall consider evidence concerning whether issuance, renewal, or continuation of the license which is the subject of protest would be detrimental to the neighborhood. Those are all off the table since I denied it. It's all new at this point. So same thing, like I would have no problem considering detrimental to the neighborhood evidence regarding that. But in the same sense, I feel, like it would be a bit unfair to Mr. Davis, like, I don't know if you're prepared to provide evidence that you're not detrimental to people who do support you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It seems unnecessary at this point.
Right, yeah, I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, moot would be a bigger term for it. So I thank you for bringing that language to my attention, but then I don't think we need to address that. All right, so that'll conclude the record for today unless anybody has anything further. All right, thank you, everyone.